Welcome to the deep dive. You know, if you looked at the world of professional golf over the holidays, it probably seemed, well, pretty quiet.
Deceptively quiet. The last week of 2025, first few days of 26, you'd think nothing was happening.
Exactly. But that stillness was really just an illusion. Beneath the surface, the foundations for the entire 2026 season were shifting. I mean, major seismic shifts.
That's the perfect way to put it. This isn't a static sport anymore. It's in this constant state of evolution. The rules, the player allegiances, the whole structure, it's all in flux.
Right. So for this deep dive, we've gone through a serious stack of sources to really synthesize what's happening. We want to give you a quick but comprehensive look at the year ahead.
And we're going to focus on, the new opportunities, the big structural changes, and the new talent that's really reshaping the whole landscape.
Okay, let's unpack this. We've got info covering everything from the feeder tours to the massive changes at LIV Golf, and even how players move between tours. Our mission is to pull out the nuggets that really matter for your understanding of the 2026 season.
And a great place to start is always the talent pipeline. The Q schools, the feeder circuits, that's the lifeblood.
And the story there seems to be this phenomenal international growth, especially, it seems, on the women's side.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, look at the Ladies European Tour, the LET. They just finished up their Q school final stage in Morocco.
Lala Aicha Tour School. That's the big one, the final proving ground.
It is. And they have a new headliner, a massive one, a Polish golfer, Dorota Zalewska. She didn't just win, she absolutely dominated, finished at a stunning 19 under par.
Wow, 19 under. So she gets her full card for 2026.
Full card. She leads a class of 20 new players who earn that status. And you have to think, she immediately becomes the one to watch this season, a potential star.
And it's a really diverse class, right? I saw Ireland's Aine Donegan also got her full card with a top 5 finish.
Yeah, it's a great snapshot of how global the game is becoming. And that reach isn't just limited to the women's game.
Right, because while the big tours in Asia and Australia were quiet, their seasons had already wrapped up.
Exactly. Guys like Takashi Ogiso had already won their finals in Tokyo. The developmental tours in that region were busy, confirming some huge promotions.
The China Tour, specifically, is really becoming a major pipeline.
It's incredibly robust. The Order of Merit champion, Zhu Yanhan, had an unbelievable 2025. 7 victories.
7 wins.
7. And for that, he secured a full DP World Tour card. That's not just a promotion, that's a direct ticket to Europe's top tier.
And a full card right out of the gate is a huge operational advantage. He can set his schedule, he's not chasing invites, it just accelerates everything.
Precisely. And then you have Germany's Jon Schneider, who won the China Tour Championship. He earned status on the Challenge Tour, which is the DP World Tour's feeder circuit.
So the theme is clear.
Mm-hmm.
The talent pool is just deeper and more international than ever.
Exactly. That quiet holiday period wasn't quiet at all. It was just the moment all the new puzzle pieces were clicking into place.
Okay, now let's talk about the puzzle piece that always gets the most attention. Let's transition to the high-stakes world of LIV Golf. Their off-season was anything but quiet.
No. For them, it was all about strategic expansion. If I had to sum up their 2026 strategy in 2 words, it's expansion and consolidation.
So what does that look like in practice?
Well, first, they're making the league bigger. The regular season field is going from 48 to 57 players. And critically, they're adding a 13th team.
Okay, so that's 9 new roster spots right there. That's a huge injection of opportunity. So how do you get one of those spots?
Through a much bigger, much higher stakes qualifying event. The LIV Golf Promotions event in Florida, happening in early January, they've really beefed this thing up.
Help me understand the mechanism here. What's the biggest change?
The guaranteed spots. The top 3 finishers now get wildcard places for the entire 2026 season. That's up from only 2 spots last year.
So that 3rd spot is a massive deal. It just ratchets up the intensity for everyone involved.
Oh, completely. And there's a big incentive for the rest of the field, too. The players who finish in the top 10 get exemptions into Asian Tour International Series events.
And that's strategic, right?
Yeah.
Because those International Series events are basically LIV's main pipeline for scouting new talent.
That's the link. They're solidifying that pathway, making sure the next wave of promising players stays inside their ecosystem.
What's fascinating to me is the mix of players trying to qualify. It's over 80 guys from 24 countries.
And it's this wild mix. You have rising international prospects, you have former major tour champions, and you have former LIV golfers.
Right, the guys who lost their status. The open zone, as they call it.
Yeah, that's the jargon for it. Players who finish near the bottom got automatically relegated, so they have to immediately fight to get their jobs back. It's not just new faces, it's a redemption battle.
That pressure for status is clearly hitting the established teams, too. I mean, we saw maybe the single most impactful personnel move of the offseason.
You're talking about Brooks Koepka?
Five-time major champion, captain of Smash GC, announces he's leaving LIV Golf.
It's huge, especially since he was one of the original, biggest names to make the jump.
I have to pause on the reason, though. The official line is more time with family. For a competitor like Koepka, does that really ring true? Or is this a sign of something else happening internally?
It's a valid question. The statement is the statement, but when a team captain who is still in his prime leaves a league like this, it's always a major organizational shock.
And it forces a major leadership change.
Immediately. And that brings Taylor Gooch into the picture.
The 2023 individual points champion?
Exactly. He earned his stripes. He's been their most consistent player. He's set to take over as captain for Smash GC. It's a huge internal promotion, and it brings some stability right after the Koepka shockwave.
Okay, let's shift focus to the broader structural decisions, the things that affect the entire sport. And before we get to the big one, let's just acknowledge a veteran's farewell.
Yeah, it's always poignant. Sweden's Pernilla Lindberg, who won the ANA Inspiration back in 2018, announced she's stepping away from the LPGA Tour.
At 39, to prepare to become a mother, 16 seasons on tour, that's a hell of a career.
It really is a wonderful moment for her.
But on the men's side, we saw arguably the most significant structural decision since LV first launched. I'm talking about the move to 72 holes.
Absolutely. This is a massive capitulation. We've been talking for years about LIV's quest for official world golf ranking points, the OWGR. This move is the clearest signal yet that they are desperate to get them.
So starting in 2026, all IV events will be 72 holes, not 54.
Correct. The traditional 4-round format.
I mean, this is monumental. Their entire brand was built on being different, shorter, faster. The anti-PGA Tour format. What does this tell us?
It tells us that legitimacy trumps novelty. At the end of the day, they are sacrificing their founding ethos for institutional acceptance. The OWGR implemented a policy that basically docks 54-hole events, awarding them only 75% of the points of a comparable 72-hole tournament.
So they were getting penalized just for playing one less round.
Precisely. And since those ranking points are the golden ticket to the majors, the Masters, the PGA Championship Levy realized they just couldn't afford to leave those points on the table anymore.
And that desire to align, it seems to be spreading. It feels like we're seeing a softening in the Inter-Tour Cold War.
That's the key so what here. You had Rory McIlroy come out and publicly say he'd support a pathway for former Levy players to return to the PGA Tour, with conditions, of course.
Which is a huge change in tune for him.
A massive change. And then you have the DP World Tour, which didn't just talk, it acted. They confirmed they will not penalize any of their players for competing in that Levy Promotions event.
How did they manage that?
They just deliberately left that week open on their schedule. It's a quiet move, but it's a monumental signal. It's almost cooperative, a huge change from the bans and fines of a couple years ago.
It's a fascinating shift. And before we move on, we have to give a quick shout out to a great comeback story that bridges last season and this one. John Perry's win in Mauritius.
What a great way to end 2025. After a really long journey, that victory earned him dual status on both the DP World Tour and the PGA Tour for this year.
Think about that. He can basically pick and choose his schedule globally. He has access to everything.
It's just a perfect example of talent and pure perseverance finally paying off. A fantastic story.
A great launch pad for the new season. So let's look at the broader business and tech side of golf, because it feels like there's incredible commercial momentum right now.
The whole ecosystem is healthy. The traditional tours are shoring up their sponsorship and broadcast deals. At the same time, Livy's expansion shows that their backers are committed to long-term growth, not just short-term disruption.
And then you have the entirely new formats. We've been hearing about TGL for years,
Right.
but now it's a reality.
TGL, the tech-driven indoor league from Tiger Woods and Rory McIlroy. It successfully debuted late last year, and it's set to run alongside the main tours in 2026.
The technology is what's so fascinating. It's this blend of high-tech simulation for the long shots.
Right, but then they hit real chips and pitches into a physical green complex in an arena. It demands this unique blend of skills. And early signs are that sponsors and viewers are really into it. It's found a niche.
All this expansion, traditional, disruptive, technological, it feels like very careful positioning for the long term.
It has to be. I mean, with golf back in the Olympics in 2028, that global spotlight is only going to get brighter. Companies are getting in early to capitalize.
So if we step back, the landscape for 2026 is really defined by this strategic balancing act.
The key takeaways for you are pretty clear. Expansion and qualification. Those are the words for 2026. We've seen huge structural moves like LE shift to 72 holes.
A major play for legitimacy.
Exactly. We've seen significant roster shifts, Kupka out, Gooch in. And the global talent pipeline with players like Zaleska and Zhu Yanhan is just incredibly strong.
And the quiet time is officially over. Things kick off almost immediately with that LIV Promotions event, then the DP World Tour in the Middle East, and the PGA Tour's return in Hawaii.
Which really raises an important question for you to think about as the season gets going. Despite all these changes aimed at alignment, like the 72-hole format, the single biggest unresolved issue is still full OWGR status for all live payers. So what stands out to you about how that lack of ranking points might affect the battles for major championship spots in 2026? Because now, with a bigger field and guys fighting to get back in, the pressure to even get a chance to play in the majors is going to be immense. The real drama might not just be on the course, but on the ranking tables.